Hello, hello. We are live. We are live on Facebook. Where's my guest? He stepped out.
On Facebook. Love it.
We are live, and I'm excited. I have not been live since December when Chanel Woods and I talked, and I don't think I was ready to go live at that time. We were still getting over COVID. But anyway, it's now February, and I'm so excited. Look what we got in the house. Look what we got in the house. Hold on. I want to put this up here. I think that my intro is all posted on Facebook, which is really nice. But I just want to say I am Sandra Jennings. This is Passion Speak, and thank you for tuning in, where we give those with a passion a platform to speak. And I'm very excited to be here. With me tonight is my guest, Devon Truvel. Devon is he is the co-creator, the CEO, and the co-founder of Play Black Wall Street, the board game. And let me just give you a little bit of background on Devon. He started at the University of California at Davis under an engineering degree, and then I had a heart change and switched to sociology. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's where you met your lovely wife, Sinclair, and she is a chemical engineer by trade, and then went on and got her MBA. And I don't know if she's going to be able to poke her head in or not, but definitely we want to give her some shout out. So I appreciate your time today. So Devon is passionate about education and financial literacy, and I also am passionate about financial literacy. I think our people we can be free financially. So, Devon, I'm gonna have to ask you. I'm curious. How did you turn your passion into the board game? Give me some background, some history on that.
I got you. So first and foremost, thank you, and proud and honored to be one of your first guests of 2021, and look forward to the amazing success that will be pouring into your cup and of passion speaks for years to come.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
Yeah, so I know I gotta say that because unfortunately it's just me. My wife can't join today, so I gotta give you extra love since the queen can't
Okay.
be here today.
Okay.
But giving folks a little bit of background, I do work in education, very passionate about education being a tool and a pathway to empowerment for our folks. And I had the privilege of working with Village Nation and Fluke Fluker, the founder of Village Nation, and we do a uni camp, right, or a Village Nation uni camp every single year. We take students from the LA area, Riverside, or the Inland Empire, and the San Fernando Valley region, and we bring them up to this Big Bear camp. And if you're unfamiliar with California, like Big Bear, high elevation in California, one of
Mm-hmm.
the few places that snows on a consistent basis. And up in those mountains, y'all, the Wi-Fi, the internet is not popping. So you have a
Are the
lot of.
animals popping? Y'all got bears up there in Big Bear?
You said are there bears?
Animals and bears. Yeah, you got bears up there in
Yes,
Big
there
Bear?
there are bears. There was a bear that actually came to the camp 2 years ago. Luckily, no
But
one
I
got hurt. We
digress.
cleared him away. Yeah. But in the camp, you're supposed to come up with your camper name, right? And the point of that
Okay.
is to, like, maybe in your neighborhood you have a certain nickname, in your family you have a given name, and sometimes those names come with trauma, come with a little bit of baggage and story behind it. So we're
Mm-hmm.
hoping that students and counselors can remove themselves from that trauma, come to this Village Nation camp, and you can call yourself Queen, Beyonce, $1 billion boy, like whatever you want to call yourself, you can call yourself that. Me,
Okay.
I chose the name Black Wall Street. But when I
Okay.
chose that name and all the counselors like, oh, hey, what's up, Black Wall Street? What's up, Black Wall Street? No one knew what Black Wall Street actually meant. And these are Black and brown youth, middle school to high school, and even some of the counselors. Nobody knew what Black Wall Street was. So my main motivation for creating the game came from
Mhm.
being at this camp and having a group of, mostly students of color and Black students, not even knowing the legacy of Tulsa's Black Wall Street, not knowing that their ancestors built an amazing, thriving economic system called Greenwood. I wanted to build a game or build a product that can help teach that amazing history.
Amen. So okay. So the kids didn't know anything about it. I have to admit, I was a very grown adult before I learned about Greenwood, and I lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma for about a
Mm,
year.
mm,
And I knew about Greenwood, but how did I live in Tulsa and not know about the 1921 massacre?
right.
I want to show a little bit of a video that's
Oh,
going to explain the impact of the massacre real quick, because I think that we don't necessarily understand what a huge impact the Black Wall Street was. So let me just see if I can
oh, you
share.
can. Oh, you can. Oh, you
I
will.
can.
There
I
it is.
will. Okay, let's do this. Do
Like
you see?
ET.
We do
Do you
not call
see?
it the
Yes, ma'am.
catastrophe because we feel like it
Ah,
wasn't a
beautiful.
riot. We didn't. We were not the perpetrators. We were the
Oh,
victims.
Olivia
But
Hooker.
it took 80 years to get the state of Oklahoma to acknowledge that.
The Tulsa Race Massacre is believed to be one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history. From May 31st to June 1st in 1921, as many as 300 people were killed, hundreds were injured, and thousands of buildings were destroyed.
On June 1st, they began to systematically destroy neighborhoods. And they had airplanes dropping things down on people's houses, and they had made up their minds to clear the entire area of Black people.
It started after a newspaper reported a Black man tried to sexually assault a white woman. Though it's still uncertain what exactly happened, many did not believe that story. The Oklahoma Historical Society said the most common explanation is Dick Rollins stepped on Sarah Page's foot when he entered the elevator, causing her to scream. A group of armed Black men went to the courthouse to offer help protecting Rollins once they heard talks of lynching. A crowd of white men was also on the scene. A shot was fired and the riots began.
My parents were very distressed because here they are with 5 kids, and the schools had been. I went to Dunbar School, and that was reduced to just rubble. I mean, they blew it up.
Crowds of white rioters went to the Greenwood district, known as Black Wall Street. It was home to an affluent African American community with banks, hotels, theaters, and new homes.
They took my 8-year-old brother too, where they were holding all the Black men. And we didn't know because we lived on one side of town and they lived on the other. We thought they were locking up the non-Blacks too. But it so happened that it didn't occur that way. What they did was to disarm and lock up all Black men. And then they said to the mob, there's nothing out there now but women and children. So you do whatever you want to do. And that was when real terrible things started to happen.
It ended when the city was placed under martial law and National Guard troops were deployed. But Black Wall Street was devastated. Survivors never received compensation for what they lost.
Yep. So I mean, I have a few things I want to talk about, like right in response to the video. Number one, in the video, you know, someone said not Dr. Olivia Hooker, who is one of the last known survivors who went off to glory from Tulsa, but or Greenwood, but they said, you know, a shot was fired and then a riot went off. And I want to do a slight correction in that it wasn't that, you know, a shot was fired. It was the Black veterans came with their gun to the courthouse, and there was reportedly a white man that said, "What are you gonna do with that gun?" N word. And he said, "I'm gonna use it if I have to." And then he said, "No, you ain't." And then there was a tussle, and in the fight, accidentally, a shot went off. So no, like no one pointed and aimed a gun and shot a gun in attempt to hurt or harm anyone. It was all on accident. But neither less to say, there was still the riot that happened afterwards. Another thing that you know, our ancestor Olivia Hooker talked about is the systematic steps that were taken
Oh,
after the
yeah.
riot. And I
Let me
want to
show
cover,
you. I'll put that up here for the impact. It's just
yes,
600 business. This is what was lost.
right, over
But as you're
600 businesses.
as you're
Ooh, that's
explaining the
crazy.
systematic.
Right. So the systematic steps that were taken, unfortunately, to break down the Greenwood community. Number one, the police department deputized white men to give them police authority without any application process, without any interview. They were now given the authority of police to go in and arrest all of those black men. Right. So obviously the
Mhm.
local police department didn't have the quote unquote power or manpower to be able to make all those arrests. So they gave that power to all of the white men in Tulsa. Number two, as she was saying, the women and children were then taken out of their homes. Right, the homes and the businesses were burnt. They were taken out of their homes and
Mhm.
put into internment camps for doing no crime at all. These are innocent American citizens that just lost their business, just lost their home, sometimes their husband or the head of household, and now they're placed in internment camps as if they were, kind of culprits of war. And then last but definitely, not least in this long journey, after the internment camps, the local folks in Tulsa saw a decline in their own economic system because
Mhm.
they're one of their main driving forces of economy was the black population, which was now either destroyed or they migrated elsewhere. So the folks that were in internment camps were then released, but only if they were able to wear or agreed to wear the tags that said who their owner was or who their employer was. So yeah,
Oh
these
man.
are things that we definitely don't learn about in my first exposure to Black Wall Street. When I took my first African American course at
Mhm.
UC Davis, we only learned, that there was a city that got built and then the city got destroyed. But we don't learn the systematic steps that our ancestors took to build the city, nor do we learn about the systematic steps that were taken to destroy the city. And I think in the systematic world that we live in, it's important to understand both sides of what happened.
Okay, thank you for that. And we're not going to belabor that point because we're not here to be victims. We're here to be victorious. So, and that brings you to your next passion, play Black Wall Street, the board game. Talk to us about that.
Yes, well, so I got it right here. I'm a visual person, so
Hey.
boom, Black Wall Street, the board game right here, based on real people, real businesses, and real possibilities. So the point of the board game is to really celebrate that those steps that it took to build Black Wall Street and really
Mm-hmm.
the lessons and the values that Greenwood was all about. So when you play this game, as you go around the board, you're able to actually land on real historic businesses from Tulsa's Black Wall Street. So Dr. Olivia
Okay.
Hooker, she said Dunbar High School. So we
Mm-hmm.
have Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School on our board. We have Booker T. Washington High School. We have Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon, William Dreamland Theater, Tulsa Star, Uncle Steve's Barbecue. The list goes on and on. We obviously couldn't fit all 600 businesses. If we could, we would have all 600 businesses. But the point is, we want folks when they play this game to be connected to that real history that happened. The next step of the game is when you land on Madam CJ Walker Beauty Salon, you have two options. The first option is you can be like, Miss Sandra Jennings over there, and you can get your hair done beautifully, real nice. I see you. I see you. Right.
Uh-huh.
So you can use the business as a customer and get your hair done and pay $25.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can take it a step further. You can invest in that business, pay maybe $120, and now you own that business as a sole proprietor. So
And
when
that's
other
in the
people,
game.
that's in the game, right? So you land
Okay.
on it, you make your choice, whichever
Mm-hmm.
decision. But if you own it, you now have the opportunity to also own it as a sole proprietor, right? The
Mm-hmm.
easiest way to start a business in real world. You then
Mm-hmm.
can invest in that sole proprietor to create a LLC, limited liability company or corporation, just like the real world. And then when you have a good market share, or in the game, when you have all of the beauty salons or barbershops on the board, you now can start making individual corporations in that market. So we're really trying to, again, teach people the values of money management, the value and importance of Black ownership within the game and in real world, but also make it very clear for
Mm-hmm.
families, for 8-year-olds, for 14-year-olds, like you can start a business, you can own an LLC, and you can own a corporation.
All right. So, station break real quick. We're talking to Devon Truvel from Play Black Wall Street, the board game. And if this description popped up like it is too. If you enter in passion on his website, PlayBlackWallSt.com, you can get 20% off. Passion, all caps. So okay, so I don't know. This must have been when you guys had you've had a number of editions evolved in your game, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I bought your first edition like 2 or 3 years ago. I did a
Yep.
class and I bought it as a gift, a door prize, and we gave it away to one of the attendees. And in fact, tonight I owe a thank you to a person who helped me out on a technical basis. He's a local guy. He took a call from me. He schooled me and he put me up on game. And I'm going to gift him one of the games after we are finished because I really appreciate it. And you know, entrepreneurs, our time is valuable. So I'm going to gift him John Covington. He's probably not watching, but if you are, I'm going to be in your inbox and thanking you with a Play Black Wall Street board game. So,
Thanks, John.
okay. So John is a professional. I think he lives about an hour from me, and he's a media professional, and he just does it up nice. I'm telling you, he's an awesome colleague. But back to the game real quick. So if I'm thinking correctly, it puts me in the mind of a Monopoly, right? But only it has a literacy piece to it, has an education piece, and of course, there's competition at the home front on the game table, right?
Of course, there are a few, notable changes that I want to do really briefly, but the gameplay is similar to Monopoly because I felt like, and we felt like, people play Monopoly. They understand it. They're comfortable with it. So if you say that, then they'll get the game and they won't be discouraged. But one major difference is for our game, because it's based on Black excellence and the true legacy of Tulsa Black Wall Street, we did not put a jail or any type of prison industrial complex institution into our game, right? Because in the real world, obviously there are systems that put us into positions where that is forcefully an opportunity or a pathway for our folks, but we don't want our players and our families to roll thinking that jail is even a possibility for their lifestyle. And then obviously, number two, Monopoly is primarily a real estate game when it first started, whereas ours is primarily a business development and entrepreneurship game based on real Black history. But yeah.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to, obviously your game took a lot of research, and it wasn't the kind of research that we get in school. We already know that because I got to be 50 years old and had never heard of it. But you read a couple of books, and I just want to reference them for whoever may be interested. Hannibal B. Johnson, Riots to Renaissance. Is that your favorite of his books?
It's my favorite so far, but he has another book that I still need to get. Going over the 100-year legacy of Tulsa Black Wall Street. It was just released this year. So I still need to read that one and check that out. But Rise to Renaissance is a great book, especially if you're trying to get the minor details of what happened inside of the Tulsa riot, but also how the community persevered even after the riots. And that's something that, again, we don't learn in school. We just learn it was bombed in 1921, but we don't learn that they actually rebuilt it almost to its former glory in like the 1940s. But and then due to desegregation, it saw another decline. But yeah, Hannibal B. Johnson, great historian, great person, good vibes, and author. So definitely support if you are.
I heard you went live with him recently.
We did. It was a shout out to Be More News and Donnie Glover out there, good person. But he slid me an invitation real slick. He was like, "Hey, I want you to join this panel talking about Black Wall Street." I didn't ask any questions. I was like, "Okay, I got you, brother Glover." But I came on, and then Hannibal Johnson was right there, and he was like. I was like, what? This is crazy. And then Donald Glover was like, hey, Hannibal, I got a surprise for you. We got a Black Wall Street, the board game in here. And yeah, from there, I've been able to connect with Brother Johnson. So it was a pleasant surprise.
Okay. And then you had told me about another author that you like, Robin Walker's. Go
And
ahead.
Robert Walker, he has tons of stuff from like ancient Africa all the way to more African American history. But when I was doing my research for Black Wall Street, he has a book going over the 7 key empowerment principles that we learn in Black Wall Street and Tulsa's Greenwood. So those are two great books that
Okay.
are off the top of my head, as well as documentaries like Before They Go. But yeah, there's tons of information out there, but unfortunately it's not taught in K-12, and this is actually the first year that Tulsa Unified is making it mandatory to start teaching it. But
Mhm.
our students may not read all the books, they may not want to watch all the documentaries. So
Mhm.
myself, back in 2017, our team, we really thought that putting this stuff into a game would be a fun way of giving them the information.
So do you take it to a Big Bear camp anymore?
So, last year, Village Nation, because of COVID, we weren't able to do it, but
Oh,
we
I
are
see.
scheduled to go this year. So, yes, we will bring some of the games to the camp. And then in 2019 was when the first year that I brought all the games, well, 20 games was the first prototypes to the camp
Mhm.
as well. So we're gonna keep that tradition going and see how we can grow that out with Village Nation Camp and Fluker and other camps or opportunities that we see out there.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Um, what did I want to ask you? I want to ask you before we go into that. I want to talk to you about where do you see the game going? I mean, are you hopeful? What do you what's your volume? What are you doing per month in sales? If you can share any of that information, and are you hopeful for the business and for the game? And what about the future?
Got it. I love talking about the future. We're definitely a growing board game company, and we're hoping to. So basically, Tulsa's Black Wall Street is one example of cooperative economics and Black excellence in our history. But there are tons of other communities: Allensworth, Bronzeville, Seneca Village, Rosewood, Mali, the Moorish Empire. Like the list goes on and on. There's tons of other examples of Black
Mhm.
history and Black groups coming together peacefully and having success. And what we want to do is be able to create games around these different historical events that have happened and be able to teach history through gamified education. So that's kind of the long-term vision of what Play Black Wall Street and our other entities have to offer. We are the next question that people always ask is, where's the digital game? What are you doing? So we started with the physical game because we want families and multiple generations to come together and play. Like people
Mhm.
send pictures where it's the grandson or granddaughter, the parent, and then the grandparent all playing the game all together. And sometimes that's difficult to do in a virtual environment. So right now we're focused on the board game, but when the opportunity presents itself, we are definitely going to move into a digital space as an additive, right? Not remove the game,
Mhm.
but as an additive option, have a digital space that's going to be it's going to be dope. It's going to be good.
You guys
And
sold
then
out around the holidays, didn't you? Because I looked, I had
did
talked to you months ago, and I looked on the website, and you were sold out. I was like, I could get a game now, but you were.
we
Is
did.
that good news? I mean, I understand you're a very small business, and both of you are still working your 9 to 5s, your traditional. This is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
side vision for you. But how's sales going? Are you able to do some things?
Sales are going well for us. We did sell out early December. We had a huge rush, 2020, because of the politics that were happening. Folks were seeking, to support Black businesses. So we definitely we're blessed and fortunate to be in a position to sell a lot of games in June and all the way through December. We are restocked now, so don't worry if you want to order
Okay.
your game.
Oh,
Play
I'm
Black
gonna
Wall.
order.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. We are restocked now and working on the 2021 edition of the game,
Ooh.
which I haven't talked too much about it, but
Mhm.
the focus of the 2021 edition is really trying to highlight Black art and like up and coming Black artists from California to Tulsa to New York, all over the nation. We're trying to put and highlight Black artists and put their work on our board games for folks to be able to see and respect as well. But
Okay.
yeah, that's it for right now.
Okay. Um, all right. And I want to talk to you about something that I feel like is really good that you guys are doing, and that's the Greenwood Project.
Yes. So the Greenwood Rising project, that's not our project. That's the project from the Tulsa Race Centennial Massacre Commission. dope organization. Shout out to Phil Armstrong. Hannibal B. Johnson's a board member of that as well. So what they're doing with the Greenwood Rising project is they are building a physical structure, and this is going to be a state-of-the-art museum and kind of like a cultural hub for paying homage to the legacy of Tulsa's Black Wall Street and Greenwood. So
Yes.
what we did was we partnered with them earlier this year, so that proceeds that people bought from Play Black Wall Street, we
Mhm.
donated directly to the Greenwood Rising project. If you want to support, you can go to tulsa2021.org. There's a button in, I believe, like the top right hand corner that clicks donate, and you can donate directly to that cause. Or again, you can continue to support Black Wall Street, the board game, and we will continue to support the project as well. But yeah, it's
Okay.
great. And I'm trying to take a trip, and I'm not gonna say trying. I'm going to take a trip to Tulsa this year because it's
Mhm.
the centennial remembrance of the massacre, of the bombing. So
Mhm.
there's tons of events that are happening. They are taking COVID precautions. So if you ever thought about visiting or going back, because I know you
Mhm.
said you used to live there, if you ever thought about it, May and June are going to be really good months to go back and visit and learn more.
Okay. Okay. Very good. As we wrap up, I was hoping to be able to maybe see comments, but I see I got an error message. So, oh well, I got to do some more studying. So, where can people? It should be in the intro, but I know they can find you on IG, and it's in the
Yes, ma'am.
intro. They can find you Play Black Wall Street on Facebook. They can find you and your wife. So you have, what is the website?
Yeah, so
True
me and the
Health. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So the first business that we started back in 2016, right when we graduated from college, was True Health Forever, TH4. And the point of True Health Forever, the long-term goal is to really support the holistic health of the African diaspora. When we're looking at our health disparities, diabetes, high blood pressure, all of that, we are, leading in the percentage. When we look at all of the wealth characteristics like home ownership, average net worth, and all that, we are at the very last. So what TH4 is trying to do at its core is make sure that we are just holistically healthy and getting this generational wealth and health. So Black Wall Street, the board game, was actually our first product through TH4. But there
Okay.
was confusion brand wise with True Health Forever and a Black Wall Street board game. So that's where we rebranded, we pivoted the game, and we created a separate entity for it. But yes, definitely support
Very
our
good.
podcast, True Health Forever. Go to truehealthforever.com to get you some good swag as well as health tools as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Do you have any parting thoughts? We're going to wrap it up.
Parting thoughts is I really love, so we talked about my passion earlier. One is definitely education, but two is I really love helping people find what their kind of passion or unique gift is and how they can create a business and profit from this passion. I think earlier on, like we're taught kind of in this American system, like, get a 9 to 5, get a job, and don't follow your passion because it can be risky. And while it can be risky, I'm also trying to teach people how, like us, we're pursuing our
Mhm.
passion and making money from our passion while working a 9 to 5. And eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to make this our full-time gig and also hire employees and create even more wealth. So I would say for folks out there, please figure out how you can find your passion, like Miss Sandra's doing right here beautifully. Find your passion, find your platform,
Yeah.
and figure out how you can create wealth and opportunities with it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Devon Truvel, for your time. Play Black Wall Street, the board game. Please get one. The discount code Passion will get you 20% off. 10% of the proceeds will go to the Greenwood project in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And love to your wonderful wife. Love to you. And I wish you guys the best.
Thank you, Miss Sandra. You too.
Thank
Let
you.
me know how we can support further.
All right. Okay.